Sure. Hello, everyone, and a warm welcome to all of you. We are delighted to have you join us for the 61st webinar in the Pratiti-2024 series, Becoming Aware, organized by the Center of Excellence in Gaming and Simulation at Sri Vaishnav Vidyapeeth Vishwavidyalaya, Indore, India. Topic of today's webinar is Gaming and Simulation for learning about green space ecosystem services and participatory management. And the resource person of this webinar is Dr. Pongchai Damrongro Vathana, Department of Biology, Faculty of Science, Chulalongkorn University, Bangkok, Thailand. On behalf of the university, I would like to extend a warm welcome to our resource person. And before we begin, let us take a moment to introduce our esteemed speaker. Dr. Pongchai Damrongro Vathana is a lecturer, researcher at the Department of Biology, Faculty of Science, Chulalongkorn University, Bangkok, Thailand. He is an ecologist. His research fields are integrated renewable resource management using gaming and simulation and urban ecology. He has conducted gaming and simulation sessions with diverse group of stakeholders in several renewable resource issues such as community forest management in northern Thailand, blue swimming crab and bycatch management at Kum Kra Bay, eastern Thailand, rain-fed lowland rice landscape and Melaleuca forest management in southern Thailand, and wetland management in Thailand and Laos PDR. So without further ado, let's welcome Dr. Pongchai to begin his session. Over to you, sir.
สวัสดีครับ So good afternoon, everyone. So let me share the screen. Okay, so hope that is go well.
Yes, sir.
This is clear, right? Okay. So thank you very much for invitations. So I have joined last 2 years for the seminar, and then I have another chance to join in Osaka conference, and then this year it's very nice to meet you all again. So this year I select the case study that I recently worked with my colleague in Kasetsart University, which is about the green space management, which is the important issue right now in Thailand. So just want to share with you the case studies of these times. Last time we discussed about the research and trainings using gaming and simulations. But this year, I think we can share the case studies with all of you. So this case studies, I would like to share with all of you 2 case studies this year. So it's about the green space. So for the contents today, so I would like to start with the green space definitions, and then the ecosystem services provided by the green space, the problems that we face, and then policy in Thailand regarding the green space management. And after that, I have created 2 games in this year. So just want to share with all of you. The first one is about manage for land game. It's about the reforestation. The game is used with the local people. It's focused on the reforestation areas, which is much more on the big trees. And then the other case is about urban green space. So the name of the game is Coco Green Space. So the full name is like a co-design for co-benefits. So this one is focused on the smaller areas. It is in the cities. So we will discuss a little bit about lesson learned and end the talk with the next step. So green space is quite important for everyone, and I believe that everyone know these terms. But we have different schools, so we have different classifications. But in the figures, so you can see the gradients of the green space, which can appear in urban areas, and also we have the mature forest. So we have the natural system and man-made system. So in Thailand, we have classified green space based on the objective of use. And one issue that we use to classify is the carbon storage potential. And so we classify green space into 6 categories based on the Office of Natural Resources and Environmental Policies and Plannings, or in short, we call them ONEP. So we have 6 types, including natural green space, public utility green space, private or institutional one. We have strip, so it's the green space along the roads, and we have community economics green space. And at the end, we have some area which is not used by the people, so it just leave abandoned. So we call them the undeveloped green space. So among these 6 types, it has different potential to store the carbon, and also it support the diversities. So it's quite important for the human as well. And you may know that the forest ecosystem will provide ecosystem function and services. So the term services is from the economic point of view, right? So in ecologists, we usually use the ecosystem function where we have the regulation functions, we have the habitat functions, something like that. But anyway, when we discuss with the people or human, we tend to use the term services, which is a kind of service that ecosystem provide directly or indirectly to the human society. So recently, the CITES, or Common International Classifications of Ecosystem Services, they classify the ecosystem service into 3 main categories. In the past, we have 4 main categories. So right now, the CITES merged the regulating and supporting services together. So we have only provisioning service, we have regulating and maintenance services. And we still have the cultural service that focus more on the human domain. So in the picture, you can see different benefits from provisioning. We can use the food from green space. We can use the biomaterials, uh, drinking waters, and firewood. And for the regulating service, this one is quite important. So you can see we have a lot of services provided by the green space. We have the soil, we have carbon storage, we have urban cooling, where we have the urban heat island effect when we have the big infrastructures or constructions. So the green space can mitigate that heat. Also, we can improve the noise pollution and purify the air. And at the end, we have the cultural service. So you can see the green space can provide a recreational value. It's also provide economic benefits for the people. So in some area, they can collect the non-timber fresh products and generate the incomes. So you can see that it has quite a lot of benefits, and it's quite clear that in the natural forest, you may use the resource from the forest ecosystem. And in urban areas, we need the good design and maintenance because it is a kind of man-made one. So we need to select the plants with a species that is suitable for the areas, or it depends on the context. And to decide the urban green space, you need to think about cost and benefit, because we need to spend a lot of money, also need the budget for maintenance. So like in this picture, you can see different type of green space structures, where you have monocultures, you have the mixed plants, or you have different plantations or economic forest, or even we have the mixed growing species. But you can see that it has different services that human can obtain. So from that one, you can see that it has many factors to think about. But as human population increase, so we have loss of the forest cover. And in the picture, sorry that this one is in Thai. As you can see in the left-hand side, that they call 0.49 square meter. This one is the green space per capita for Bangkok people. And in the right-hand side, you can see the green space in Singapore, in London, in Austria, and in Malaysia. You can see the high number of 27, 66, 120, or 50 square meter per capita. So when we look at our countries, you see it's quite low compared with the WHO, World Health Organization standard. It's defined around 9 square meter per capita. So we still need more, so more land. But you can imagine that it's quite difficult to increase the areas. And the policy right now, if we focus on the green space quantity, we try to increase the areas rather than the quality. And even in the right-hand side, you can see the large patch of the green space in different cities. So when we have that lower standard value, so we try to increase the space. So once again, this one is the Thai policy in the 20 years national strategies. In the green boxes is about the natural forest. So we aim to increase 35% compared with the country land. In the orange one, this one is the economic forest, where we aim around 15%. And at the bottom, you can see the blue color. This one is quite small portions. This one is a green space in urban areas. So we aim to increase around 5% of the country areas. And you can see in the circle, which the number is 120 megaton carbon dioxide equivalent. This one, if we achieve this target, 35, 15, and 5% of the green space, so we expect to absorb 120 megaton carbon dioxide equivalent. So we aim to move to the carbon neutral society, but it's not easy. As you can see, we have quite limited areas, and people as well. We still lack of the knowledge, the concern about green space importance, or even biodiversity that they use. And if we want to increase the land, if we look at the natural forest and economic forest, 35% plus 15%. So we have diverse range of the practice and different interventions, where you can see in the table, we have different manpower, cost, and benefit to the biodiversity or economics. So we have to make the decisions, what kind of technique we will use, and how much budget we have. So in the pictures, you can see different degradation stage. So normally in the natural forest or degraded forest, so we need to assess the initial situation of the forest before we do the reforestation. So if we have like very low degradations, so usually we use the natural regeneration techniques. It means that we just suppress the weeds, so not disturb them a lot and let the natural system recover itself. But if we have high disturbance pressures, so some tree cannot survive, or the density of the seedling is quite low, like less than 500 seeds or individuals per hectare. So we use uh, assisted natural regeneration or framework species method. And in some case where we have totally damaged or very high disturbance, so we use the maximum diversity method for the recovery of the plant. And for July, we also assess the areas, and we have our own techniques where I can discuss later. But you can see we have agroforestry system and also the commercial forest that we can replace the forest cover. But we have different cost and benefit. And the same for the urban area. You need different method and different maintenance or design techniques. As you can see in the pictures, we have a different type of green space. And even in a small house, you can grow or establish a green space in your house based on your own interest. So from this, you can see the difficulties. We need more land, but we need to balance the cost and benefit. But at the same time, we have a diverse type of users. So in this case, the gaming and simulation can be used to support that design. So in my research, so I use the component modeling. So in short, we call it COMMOD. So component modeling is rely on the multi-stakeholders approach. So we have two main objectives. The first one is to facilitate the dialogue, share learnings, and collective decision making among concerned stakeholders. And the second objective is to strengthen the adaptive management capacities. And we use different simulation tools, role-playing games or agent-based models. So in the pictures, you can see this one is a representation of the reality. So in one system, so we have socio-economic sectors and environments connect to each other. And we have the resource users. So resource user, we have different perceptions, different objectives. But when we need to use the same land, same resource, so we have to take care of the other perceptions as well, or the other needs, the other objectives. So when we use the model, so we try to create a common representation. So it means that everyone had their own understandings. So we try to create the common platform and use with them by the simulations. And we aim that so when they learn from each other, they can adapt or modify their practices. So this is a way where COMMOD look at the system. So from that, we create the games focusing on the reforestation. So the first case is about forest management. So in July, in our university, we have important mandates to establish the forest areas in the degraded zone, especially in the northern Thailand. We have quite a lot of forest degradation. So in Nan province, so here is the research station. So this game we created for that specific purpose. So in July, we have a reforestation process, and we have been grow the plants for more than 10 years. And right now we have several plots, and we have limited budget to maintain. So right now we try to engage the local people, start from the beginnings to let them learn the importance of the green space, the importance of the reforestation. So what kind of benefit that they can obtain? So if they look after the forest in 1 year, 2 years, นะครับ they can get some benefit. So we represent it นะครับ to the gaming and simulation. So in the past, we grow or we establish the forest with limited participatory activities. So right now we have limited budget, we have limited manpower to look after the new forest plot. So we try to engage the people more and more. So we create this game and use with them. The objective of the game is to improve the understanding about ecosystem services from planted forest and co-identify the management activities. So among the concerned stakeholders, which is the Chulalongkorn University staff in Nan province and the villagers who look after the area. So the first game we call it Manage for Nan. So it's stand for management of planted forest at Nan province. Yeah, so we call it in short like that. And we have our own technique for planting. We grow the Dipterocarpus species like Dipterocarpus alatus, you see Shoria samensis, Popius species, and Anisopteras. So we inoculate the plant root with the ectomycorrhiza fungi. So the seedling can grow quite well, especially in the dry seasons. And for 2 or 3 years after we grow the forest, the local people can harvest the mushrooms, the wild mushroom, which is a kind of ectomycorrhiza one, and they can sell for the income generation. So from that, we try to promote to the people, but not only the mushroom. We also have the benefits from the natures, like we have biodiversity, harbors. We also are able to use the timber products. So to create the games and use with the people, we start with the conceptual modeling. We create the UML diagrams and start the data collections. We study the ecosystem services in the plantation plot. So we have different ages. So we collect the data of the plant species, the carbon storage, mushroom species, insect, bird, and herbaceous species. So when we get the information, so we can conclude the benefit of the planted forest. So after that, we start create the games. So this game we start last year. We spent 2 or 3 months to create the games, and then we test it. So the game board is quite big because it represents the large reforestation areas. And we create the pre and post test to check the effectiveness of the game. Then we use it with the local people in Nassau sub-districts and in Lainan sub-districts. So in these 2 areas, they have the plan to grow or to establish the reforestation plot. And so we test the game with them. And also after we play the games in 2023, this year, we also have the new reforestation projects. So we use it with the local people in San districts, sub-district. So they can learn the importance of reforestation areas and co-design the management plan with Chulalongkorn University staff. So who will allocate the money, who will allocate the labors, something like that. So we have the 3rd workshops in this game. So from that, when we finish the games, this is the kind of data that we collect. You can see we collect the mushrooms, we see the different species of arthropod, and we have different bird species and different ages of the reforestation. So we have different data set to use for gaming creation. We also have the different score for the ecosystem services in different plantation areas. So when we learn about that, researchers have our own understandings. So we select some key components and draw the conceptual models. We try to simplify the system. But at the beginning, you can see a lot of components interact with each other. And then we try to select the important one, make it more simplified. There's only 3 components. So I am not go in detail about that. But from that UML diagram, so it's like a blueprint. And you can use it for game creations. So from that small components, you can transfer or translate it into the physical components. So in our games, we create board games. We don't use a computer simulation because we would like the participant to discuss or share their own idea together. So when we use a computer simulation, most of the time the player they are not discuss, not much discussed. So we create board games, and this one we design for 10 local households and 2 Chulalongkorn University staff. So CMNI stands for Center of Learning for Network Region. So I call it in short CLNR staff. So this game is quite specific for specific purpose. So the games, we have people who grow the crops and they have to spend labors or money to manage or look after the reforestation plot that is established in their own areas. So for CLNR staff, they also have the purpose to increase the reforestation areas and manage the plants with limited budget. And let's say we have a constraint in the game. So when we design, we think about the visualizations and physical component. We want people touch and exchange with each other. So the game board is contain 420 cells. So each cell is represent one rye. This is a common unit in our countries. So one rye is equal to 0.25 hectares. And in details, we have natural forest covers, we have planted forest areas, we have bare land, which is allow people to grow the crops and establish the plant species. We have the the orange colors represent the different agricultural crops. So you can see in the right hand side, we have 5 crops at the beginnings. We have rice, we have maize, we have para rubbers, we have bamboos, and we have some economic trees. We pin it in the with the papers, so it's easy for players to monitor. And for the natural forest or planted forest, you have different levels. When they grow at the beginnings, we call it 0. It means it's just like a bare land. And in the yellow one, it means this is 1 year old. And for the smaller one and green colors, this is like 2 years old. And the green one is older one. And we use the smaller size and overlay with each other to see the growing of the plant. So the player can monitor like that. We also have the natural forest as well. So from that land use and land cover, we have the set transition diagrams. So if we have different activities, so we can change the land according to this condition. So the crops the forest and crop growth is depend on the management practices. So you can see on the right hand side, this one, we have a different small ring. So represent the fertilizers, the biopolymer, which is used for water absorption. We have the ectomycorrhizas for the continuous inoculations. We have weeding, we have fire breaks, and also we have the different the black color for the age counting. So you can view it in the cells to remember how old of your areas. Okay, so that is the component. So when we use it in the games, so we start by asking people, to make their own decisions. So players have to think about, two things. So the first one, they have to think about their own crops. So what kind of plant species they grow. They have to spend some investment. And at the same time, so when they have the reforestation in their own areas, they also have to think about the labors or budget that they tend to spend. So they can record their own decision in their own record sheet and go to the bank and buy the pictograms and place it on the board. So after that, they can go and collect non-timber products and implement some ecotourism activities. So it depends on the case or the interest of the people. So after that, we have the scenarios. So we have climate change, we have economic collapse, we have the droughts, things like that. So the people draw the card to indicate their income at the end. So if they draw the climate change, we also have small detail to look if they burn the forest or burn the agricultural areas or not. In Thailand, when we prepare the land, normally we use the burning system, or they use the plowing techniques. So if they use the plowing, they reduce the chance of bushfires. So if they burn the area for the land preparations, they get the orange beach. This one is for the fire. So from that, they can see they harvest the non-timber product and get the income. And also the income is related to the scenario card. So when they clear the money, so we discuss the results in the computer. So we fill in the data from the record sheet, and year after year we discuss the result with the players. And sometimes if we have the patch large enough, so we have like kind of emergent property for the for the bird, so they can settle in some particular area if the land is large enough, things like that. So we play it like this for 5 rounds. So it represents 5 years in reality. So at the end, we have the debriefing sessions and both tests to check if they learn or what kind of suggestion to improve the games. So in this version, in this game, this first game, we use it for 3 times. So in different areas. So the first one, we use it in Nassau Village. For the first settings, we play it, let's say 2 sessions. So the first session is conducted Mondays. We have 5 turns or 5 rounds, represent 5 years in reality. With the first scenario, no communications. And then in the afternoon, we play it again with the same players. But this time we allow them to discuss and co-decide the plant species that they want to grow, and we start discuss about the management practices together. And then in the second workshop, when we learn from the first rounds, we improve the game a little. We reduce some complexities, and we merge it the 2 sessions into one single sessions and play only 5 turns instead of 10 turns. That is quite time consuming. And then we shorten it. So we play it in Lainan village. This one is had the plan to grow or establish the reforestation areas, but they're still not sure when. But we use the game with them to let them learn and plan. And in late July this year, as I told you, we have the reforestation project in San. So we conduct a gaming session with them. So with the same features that we use in Lainan, after we improve it, so not much change. So this one that we change from the first version to the second version, we reduce some detail like ectomycorrhizas, fertilizers, or biopolymers. And also we fix some plants to make it more easy to play. And here's the atmosphere when we use the games. See, we separate the players into 2 groups, and at the end we compare the results together. So in Lainan and in Nassau, we do the same. So they can learn from each other as well. Different ideas emerge when they play the games. And this is the recent session in San village. So we play with around 20 or 25 participants. So you can see that they put the fire breaks outside the reforestation areas. And right now this one is going up from level 1 to level 2 to level 3 already. And sometimes you can see the non-timber products and the bird species that settle there in the areas. And outside you can see the forest, the agricultural land. This belong to the villagers. This one. So we have the statistic analysis for the learnings. So we found that the players gain a lot of knowledge. So it's quite significantly increased, like from 19 to 25 points. We have pre-test questions. So multiple choice mixed with the open-end questions. So in both villages, we have the good results. And for the satisfactions, we use the Likert scale and ask people in the different categories. So we found that levels, but they are 6% in first workshop and 18% in second workshops. They answer quite low score. You can see the red one here. So this is quite boring. This one I think is because of this kind of game. We call it serious game. So the player have to spend high energies. They have to think a lot. What kind of plan they're gonna go? What kind of non-timber products that they going to harvest? Do they spend money? How much they can share? Something like that. So some people don't like to think a lot. So they may rate this low score. And this game, as you can see, we play morning and afternoon. So sometimes it make people lack. So we have to share. This is why in the second workshop we try to merge the game together, and we finish it in first half of the day. Okay, so in terms of management, when we finish the games, so the people understand the situation. I think they learn a lot about the ecosystem services. So they start discuss about the management practices, like a budget in the planting phase, or labors in the planting phase, budget in the monitoring phase. So after growing, so who will pay? And labor during the monitoring phase, who will be in charge, like CLNRs or joint work. all belong to the community. So we observe that the community or the people have interest to spend the labors rather than the budget. So they still need our university support the budget for the plantings and maintenance phase. And in these pictures in your right hand side, you can see we also set up the tables like month after month. And in the different roles, we have different management practices. So we discuss with them who will be the responsible people, and we fill up this table. So at the end of the workshop, they know what plan or how much budgets they have to prepare. So we send this Excel file to the people, so they can use. So from that game, you can see, okay, the people is quite interested and then joy with the gaming sessions. And now, so we have the other new research projects. So it's about the urban areas. So the context is slightly different. So in the first case, we play with the natural forest or the economic forest, but in this case, this is the smaller areas, and it's quite difficult to expand the green space. And in terms of policy, we have the quantity increasing. It's quite few words that it focus on the qualities, but in terms of ecologists, we are looking at the quality as well. We lost the green space or we lost the forest cover, so we need to create a good green space and have to recover it back. And also when we have the urban areas, so the people usually have less interconnect to each other. They tend to live separately, so the participation rate is quite low. So we need to engage them more compared with the first case. So we try to promote the co-benefit and collective selection of the green areas with the people. So we create the new games. So instead of using ecosystem service term, so we modify it and create the term co-benefit, which is used in green space management. Commonly used than the ecosystem service. So this game we created with a different, similar objective, but it's slightly different with the first one. So this game we aim to facilitate the share learnings about different type of green space, so the people can learn and have decision which type that they want to establish, and support the shared learning about the core benefit that they will obtain from the green space, and support the discussions leading to the co-design and planning to increase the green space with good quality. So this one we have the same protocol that we collect the data, we conduct the game testing and use it with the people. So in this game, we use it 3 times as well. So the first one we use it in Lam Chabang, eastern part of Thailand, which is the industrial areas. The second workshop we conduct at Bang Krachao, which is central parts of Thailand. This one is quite green. It still have nature knowledge. And we have a chance to use this with the student at this time. So we recently used just last month with the student in Nan province, and this is the structures of the games. We have the big game boards as well, but this time we have diverse pictograms represent different green space. We have segment types, so we use a different color represent different type, and in each type we have different forms. Okay, so we have total of 21 forms, and also we have the buildings. And if you see at the bottom left, you can see the number. So in the green space, we have the carbon dioxide or greenhouse gas absorption value. And for the factories or buildings, we have the greenhouse gas emission value. So this game we aim for the people to learn about greenhouse gas emission and absorptions as well, because we target 5% to increase the green space in urban areas. And we also have a different game artifact like bird pictograms, non-timber forest products. Because the game is designed close to each other, so we bring the features from each one. And here we create the co-benefit card for the people. So to play the game, they have to decide what kind of co-benefit that they want to use or they want to achieve in the community. Then we have a different scenario like business as usual. We have PM 2.5. We have funding from private sectors, climate change, and ecotourism that we try to let people learn about benefit. We also have the different activity like trainings, which is part of core benefit or ecosystem services provided by the green space. So to play the game, it's the same thing. It's the same setting. The people decide what they want, and in this case, they have to select 3 core benefits aspect, and also they have their own objective to achieve. So we ask them to select, and then they start decide what kind of green space they want to establish. They have initial money to buy, and at the same time they have to distribute the greenhouse gas. We represented by the orange beach. This one is make people learn the greenhouse gas emissions or the climate change. And after that, when they grow or they install the pictograms, they may have some condition that is suitable for the bird. So then the bird can settle and environmentalists record the data. After that, we also have the different activities where the people can join and get the certificate. This one is like a social aspect for the green space. And at the end, when we play it, we finish it, the players have to clear the orange beach. They move the beach from the factory to the green space. It's like absorption. So they learn quite a lot from this step. Then after finish, they get the money and start looking at the goal, if they success or not. So we play it in different areas as well. We play with the policymakers at this time, and we play with the children. So when we play the games, this one we don't have the statistic data to show you, but we learned that the carbon storage, biodiversity, and tourism are the common co-benefits selected by the players, and it's enough to represent the realities, like the people from Lam Shabang industrial zone, they don't select the strip green space type. They said that it's quite difficult to manage. We have the heavy transportation in the area, so it's damaged that type of green space. So they are not interested to invest on it. And also they learn the greenhouse gas emission and removal from the physical movement. And they also are interested to share the money, because in the city, I think the people have more money compared with the reforestation game. That one they tend to spend the labor or manpower. And they request the researcher to conduct the game at the village level. And at the end, from this game, we have the site selections at the end when they understand and the interest to establish the green space and improve the quality. So we have 7 pilot sites. So right now we are in the stage of evaluation. I mean the first assessment of the green space quality before we implement it. So after this, we have the field work with the local people. Okay, so let's say the game can use in the different steps. So in the pre-plantings, we can use it with the people try to collectively selection of the areas to be developed and select the appropriate techniques for green space establishment. And we use the gaming and simulation for share learnings, listen to each other and co-design the working process before we plan. So from this one, the provisioning service is not more clear, but you can see the regulating and maintenance and cultural services benefit from using the games. And after that, if we use it in the planting phase, we can share the suitable plant species altogether, and then we can increase the co-benefit to the human and wildlife. And then when we have the post-planting phase, they can learn how to enhance the stakeholder participation and engage the people in different stages like meetings or monitoring. And also we can use the game to support more activities in the research or in the education. When they understand the game, they want their children to learn too. Okay, so in conclusion, we say that the game can use to support the shared learnings and the visual and physical features are important. So based on our experience, the people can touch, move. This one is quite important features for them to learn. But some gaming features still need to improve because it's time consuming and it's still complicated. So we are improving it. Okay, would like to thank the funding from CLNR and GIZ, the research fund from Germany, and participants from Nan province and local communities. And thank you for your attention.
Thank you, sir. Now I would like to invite participants to ask their queries if they have. Inviting panel members as well. Please ask or write your question. I would like to read one of the question from the question and answer. One of the participant are Akhila. Question is there any challenges involved in regards with the gaming and simulation of green space ecosystem services? If it is, then how it can be dealt with?
It's not quite clear for me what is challenges. What do you mean? Because I based on my practices, to use the games, the thing that the people interest to co-design with each others. I mean, they have their own idea. They have their imagine. What kind of green area they want. But if they sit next to each other, then they have to share the land. they have to agree, with the others as well. So I think the challenge is that the discussion to find a common agreement among the members in the communities, if they can agree together or not.
Okay, is there any other question? Yes, Vinod sir, please ask your question.
Yeah, my question was, I had 2, 3 questions. One was this game developed by a university? Dr. Pongchai?
Yes.
Was this game developed by a university?
Use or develop, sorry?
Who developed the game?
Who developed? My master student.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I am his supervisor, but I have the research projects.
Okay.
So I
The
put the
same
idea
master
to
students
them.
are playing the game?
Yes.
Their age would be what, 20 to 23 years?
Yes, master student. Yeah, 22 to 23 years old.
And is this game a necessary part of the course or is it an optional one?
It's his thesis, master thesis. So it's not part of the course yet, but I plan to use it in the natural resource management course.
Okay.
Yeah. And
I
also, as you can see, I use it with the student already for the second games,
Mhm.
the green space.
Mm.
Yes, but it's still under simplification. I found that it's still a little bit complicated. We need a lot of assistance to play the game. It's still not autonomous versions.
Is the game played only by one team at a time? I think once you said two teams.
Everyone sit together, so they play together. But we separate into two groups because we want to compare the results at the end. I mean, we can play only one group.
Okay. And do you need to process the data separately or is it already available on the board, on the table?
We have the Excel files. We have only one Excel file, so we can input the data together. So we have the graph to compare in one single file. That do not need to separate it. In fact, we designed it for 4 group, the maximum capacity for group, but we need the assistant to fill the data. Yeah.
And each game is about 2 hours. Today you've shown us three games, right?
Yes, it's about 2 hours.
2 hours.
Yeah.
That's about two phases, I think. I think I saw
ครับ
somewhere two phases.
ครับ
Thank you. Looks like a nice game. I hope you extend it from 2 to 10 phases and make it
yes.
an obligated part of the university course.
Yeah. So I send the manuscript to the conference in at the end of this year. So if we select publish, so I will maybe share with you
Okay.
about the game. Yeah.
Oh, that'll be nice. That'll be nice. Very nice. It's a very nice game because everybody can play. How many students per team? I saw a large number of students. Would that be 7 or 8 students per team?
For the first game, we can support around 10 to 12 players per teams. And for the second game, we have 9 roles for players, so they can each one game. I mean, one group can support 9 students or 9 players.
And every player has a role.
Yeah, every player has a role.
Okay.
The first game about the reforestation, we have only 2 roles: the villagers and the Chulalongkorn University staff.
Okay.
But for the villagers, we have like a 10 to 12 players, and they play the villager role. But for the second game, the urban green one, this one we have 9 roles because we want them to learn. I mean, we have different stakeholders, we have different needs, different benefits. So we design for nine roles. So each player play a separate role. Even the bird is a role in the game. We have one player play the role of bird. They have to find the green space to settle. If they cannot meet the objectives, it means they gone extinct at the end, so they lose the game.
At the
And
end of the game, does
yeah, I mean 5 rounds.
do they give feedback as to how the game was played? What were your emotions and feelings? What did they learn?
Yes. We ask them we use a Likert scale, and
Okay.
we have the post test. But for the second game, it's still under analysis. But overall, it's quite nice. They interest and ask me to conduct the other sessions with the admin at village level. For the second game, we play it with the policy maker at this time. So because we want policy maker to learn first, and then they start understand and they say, oh, it's better than conduct meetings as usual. They have the regular meeting every month, and then they just come sit and listen to the village headman or the provincial managers. So it's quite boring, but this kind of game is allow them to exchange or decide what they want. I mean, they have their piece of land and they want to have the big tree here. They want to have the bush there. They want to have the pond, to supply the water. So in some corner, this one is allow them to share and discuss. Because this game is represent the green space in community, so they have to decide together.
So the 5-point Likert scale data that you have, that will go into the paper, right?
Yes.
Okay, congratulations. I
Yes,
hope
thank you.
we get to see the paper next year or this year.
Wow. Yes,
All the
I
best.
hope so.
All the best. All the best.
Thank you, Vinod sir. And thank you,
you.
Dr. Pongchai.
Thank you.
Thank you for the enlightening and thought-provoking session on the interesting gaming topic. We deeply appreciate your valuable insights. And now I would like to invite Dr. Jigyasu Dubey, coordinator of the Center of Excellence in Simulation and Gaming at Shri Vaishnav Vidyapeeth Vishwavidyalaya, to deliver the words of thanks. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Pali. First of all, our sincere gratitude to Dr. Pongchai for accepting our invitation to conduct the 61st webinar of the series Pratiti Becoming Aware. And in this session, Dr. Pongchai presented the application of two games, gaming and simulation for shared learning about ecosystem service provided by a reforestation site and participatory management planning. Second one is the COCO game, space game, GNS, for shared learning about the co-design of urban green spaces. So we are thankful to you, Dr. Pongchai, for giving your precious time. We are also thankful to the ISAGA for the collaboration and support in the organization of Pratiti-2024 Becoming Aware webinar series. Our sincere gratitude to our university's Vice Chancellor, Dr. Pinder Dhar, Rector, Dr. Santosh Dhar, for their continuous guidance and encouragement. Our sincere thanks to today's panelists, Dr. Vinod Damlekar ji, Dr. Mahendra Pratap ji, and all other panelists who are present, and most important, all our attendees who make this webinar successful. I am also thankful to Dr. Rupali Bhartiya and all the team members of Center of Excellence in Simulation and Gaming and the IT team of the university for their kind support. Thank you very much. Thank you to all of you.
Thank you.
Thank
you, sir.
you. สวัสดีครับ
Once again, thank you to all our members, speaker, and participants for participating today. And we hope you found this session enriching and inspiring. So stay tuned for more exciting webinars on gaming and simulation in the Pratiti 2024 series. And I request all the participants to please fill the feedback form as mentioned in the chat box for getting e-certificates. Thank you. Have a great day. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Bye bye.